welcome to another tutorial from dakinane.com. In today's tutorial we're going to be looking at Google Slides and how to import images from the internet, crop to shape, and then how to link slides from shapes to make an interactive presentation. So let's not delay any further and get right into it. I have a blank slide here and I'm going to add some images. So the first thing I want to do is insert an image. Now if you're used to the Explore button being in the bottom right hand corner, that's now been moved at the latest update, or removed rather. So we now need to come to the insert function here on the toolbar. So just click on insert and we want to insert an image, and this time we're going to search from the web. I'm going to click on this, and as before with the Explore button, search bar comes up on the right hand side over here, so I'm going to click on here and I'm going to search for a Coca-Cola. And here's a number of images that I want to choose from. I'm just going to pick this first one here. So to insert that, I'm going to click on the image, and down the bottom here it says insert, so I'm just going to click on insert, and there's my image. Now it's way too big and I want to make it smaller. I want to make it square, and then I want to crop it into a circular shape. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the image, and the blue border disappears and these black crop functions appear. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to crop the shape. I'm going to drag it. I want to get a focus on the head here, so I'm just going to use these drag bars here, and I prefer to grab the ones in the middle so I keep the aspect ratio or the perspective right. So I just want to drag this across to I want to make it about a square, and we can format that in a moment. And that's roughly how I want it. So I'm going to press the return or enter key, and now it's cropped it into shape for me. And I want to make it exactly a square, and you'll see why in a moment. So I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to come down to format options here, click on that, and over here I want to click on size and rotation. And we've got the width and the height here, so I've got it nearly right, 7.09 centimeters by 6.18. So if I make this width 7 and enter, it'll change slightly, and if I make the height 7, it'll change slightly. But now this is exactly a square. And what I can do now is I can now crop this, and in Google Slides, over on the crop function over here, there's a mask image from the drop down next to it. So it's not cropping, it's masking, and I want to add a circular mask to this. So I'm going to click on the little drop down arrow here. I'm going to select my shape. You can select any shape that you want, but I want the circle, so I'm just going to click on that. And because I've taken the time to make this image square, the circle that gets created will be a perfect circle. So let's click on the object again, click on the drop down box here, choose the shape I want, and I want the circle. I'm going to click on this, and there we go. My image has been made into a perfect circle. And now if I want to reduce this now, I can make this smaller. Let's make this 5 by 5, and I've kept a perfect circle again. So let's just make this a little bit more interesting. I want to put a border around this, so again highlight. I'm going to come up onto the border weight part of the toolbar up here, click on here. I want to make it 3 pixels, and then I can choose the color. Let's choose something that's going to contrast. I'm going to choose an orange, and the thicker I make it, you can see how that looks. And indeed we've got other options over here. If I just close the format options and remind you how to get to there, right click on this, come down to format options. I'm going to close this one. Down here I can add a drop shadow if I wanted to, so click on drop shadow. Look at the options here. Let's just scroll the distance so you can see that it's there. I can change the blur, I can change the angle where it is. I like it about there, and the opacity, so how do you want to see it. And so you can make your image a lot more interesting and a lot more attractive. And so that's how we can use the mask function on an imported image. We can use the crop function to actually create a much more interesting image in our presentation. You can see here that I've made 2 additional buttons, and I made them in exactly the same way as I made the first one. And in fact I've rescaled them so they're all the same size using the picture properties function. So now I want to use these as buttons to link to other slides in the presentation, so it works like an interactive slide. So you'll see I've made, click on these, I've made additional slides with the Kokaku here, and I've put a text in, and I've made this little green back to start button in the bottom, but you'll notice on the other ones there isn't anything like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at how to link to each of these slides by clicking on each of these pictures, and it's a very simple process. So the first thing I want to do is I make note of the numbers over here. I'm on slide 2, slide 3 and slide 4. That's very important. So the Kokaku is going to go to slide 2, the Hibiscus to slide 3 and Powelifanta to slide 4. So I'm going to click on the Kokaku and it's highlighted, and as soon as it highlights, the menu options on the toolbar become different, and I'm going to click on the link option here. Click on this, and at the very bottom here it says slides in this presentation, and this is where these numbers over here on the left hand side become important. I want to link to slide 2, so click on this one and I'm going to link to slide 2. That's done. So let's do it again for the Hibiscus. Click on here, and the Hibiscus is on page 3 or slide 3. So click on the link, click on the slides in this presentation, and just check slide 3. Yes, done. Finally, the Powelifanta again. Click on it to highlight it. Click on the insert link icon. Click on slides in this presentation option, and click on slide 4. And we've now made links, so when we click on each of these images, and I'll show you what that looks like in a moment, we will jump to each one of these slides. But let's deal with slide 2 first here. But as part of that navigation, we want to be able to go backwards and forwards, and the jump off point, if you like, is this home page here where we've got 3 options, and we can't go on anywhere else from here at the moment. We just land on this page, but we want to get back to this page, and that's what this button's for. So with the same thing, this time if I click on this, back to start, again click on the insert link option here, and we can come back to the first slide, or slide 1. Let's click on first slide, and that's that done. Now I only had to do this the once. If I copy this and then come to the Hibiscus page, obviously from this page I want to jump back to the beginning again, so I'm going to paste it in place, and Powelifanta, and paste it in place, and I've now created a series of links that will take me from the home page or the start page to each of the individual pages, and on each of those individual pages is a link back to where I want to go to. Obviously if you wanted to jump to another page, you could put another link in here as well, and it depends how complicated you want to make your links. So let's test it. I'm going to click on slideshow. Here we go, back to start. Here is my home page. Let's click on Hibiscus. Yep, that looks like it's good. Click on back to start. Let's click on Powelifanta. Yep, it works. Click on back to start. Click on Kokaku, back to start. All the links in my site have been tested and work. And so that's how you can create links to jump to particular slides or pages in your presentation to make it more interactive and less linear for people to work through or look at and read and interact with your work. Thanks for watching this tutorial and making it to the end. Until the next time, ka kite anō.